Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I have one of my more creative matches. It's a cannon rush defense, which, I mean, that's why you're here, right? But cannon rushes, even to this day, are one of the more incredibly annoying strategies, especially in Protoss versus Protoss. I mean, I feel like you got ways to defend it, but every cannon rusher has their own different flavor. Like, if you've ever tasted toilet water, you'll know it has different flavors, allegedly. So, much like that, cannon rushers all kind of have their own thing they like to do. Like, I'm already just starting off. No Sky Toss is the name of my opponent. Not a barcode, but already a little suspicious. But honestly, I'm a big fan of instead of just dealing with the cannon rush head on necessarily. Instead, what are you doing with that probe? Instead, trying to circumvent it, making them overcommit, stuff like that. So the probe comes in. The probe coming in before I even lay down my second gate. You're supposed to scout off your second gate. Alright, that's what you're supposed to do. The probe comes in earlier at this point, so very quickly. It's at this moment where I realize this man is up to no good. I mean, the 4 pylons did give it away a little bit. I see the second probe. It isn't some ridiculous bait. So my first instinct is to... I'm not even going to bother. Alright, let him do this. And I'm going to expand the corner. Yeah, we'll see what happens then. But, so pretty much I'm just gambling. I can get to a Stargate before the cannon rush, before it can metastasize. Essentially, before the cannon rush reaches my mineral line and ends my economy. I'm just going to try to take another base. But then I kind of realize I can kill the probe on the inside, and I can kind of... It's at this point I probably could just chill. Like, I could focus on defending. But I've already kind of gone down the road of deciding we're going to give up the main. So I'm kind of willing to let that happen at this stage. The idea is I'm going to build a Stargate, and I'm going to recall the probes over here. So I'll have and then a probe shows up, which really makes me feel like everything's terrible and I hate it, and why do I bother playing this game? And this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And also, why is there a probe there? So like okay, so I'm not trying to defend it. It actually, I checked later. His probe was scouting for proxies. He actually has it queued up to, like, right where I have the Stargate. He happened to find... I thought I was being clever with this Nexus. I mean, big brain play, right? Put it on their side of the map so they won't scout it. So then, he cannon rushes me. I'm not sure what that pylon's even for. So I need to get a void ring. This has all gone sideways. I mean... Doing the recall defense is kind of hoping... It's kind of running away from the slow-moving bullet and hoping it doesn't catch you. But... he decides to go for the Stargate instead of the pylon, which my second pylon gets kind of negated a bit when that happens. But at the same time, because he's cannon rushing this base, it slows down the cannon rush in my main. Because, obviously, a cannon rusher has trouble focusing 2 things at once. And then I decide to pull the probes for some reason. And I lose most of them. So that was dumb. Don't do that. But early on when I saw the 4 pylons, I decided this is what we're doing. It's one of those things, like, just like the cannon rush itself, you just gotta commit. You do not have time. There is no waffling between, am I gonna defend at home? Am I gonna, like... Part of the strength of the cannon rush is how little time it gives you to make a decision. Because it's relying on, instead of like dozens of actions over 10, 15 minutes, it's, do you pull probes now or not? Do you try to stop it now or not? And you have like 10, 15 seconds to make that decision. So I decided I would proxy a Stargate and recall. And then, now we have another Nexus. Yeah, so this is gone. Right now, what is the worker count? It's actually 14 to 15, we can see. I don't know this. but there isn't another Nexus. I am banking everything on this right now, that there's no other Nexus. When the probes come back here, it makes me feel very good. All right, one, because I'm killing probes, and two, because if he's bringing the probes back here, he's desperate to get money for something, and I figure out, oh, it's stalkers, because little do I know, or I wasn't paying attention, there's a cyber core in my base. I mean, come on. He built the rest of his base in my base. I think this style of defense is pretty good. I think if you see a lot of players at the lower levels will just all out. They'll be so concentrated on cannon rushing that they won't even think about something like a recall. Of course, once you start to not attack the cannon, smarter players, like my opponent here, credit to him, figured it out. But thankfully I got, if I didn't get this Void Ray out, I mean, so many games have relied on a single Void Ray. The fact that he sent the probes back the first time really makes me feel like I'm scared that they're... Okay, so now we're here. He has 3 stalkers, which... It's not over. There's still shenanigans afoot. The probes are pulled. We're down to it. It's just probes. And now I'm hoping I won the stalker. I mean, you remember Huck versus Naniwa? There are a few dozen of you, right? MLG, back when they had real games at MLG? I know, right? There were a couple of years there. So now we're dancing with stalkers and probes with a shield battery. I still have a Void Ray, but I'm pretty convinced at this point he doesn't have another Nexus. The probes catch the stalker, and he taps it out. So, overall, is this a reliable cannon rush defense? Not really. I think a better option is shutting it down before it starts. But if the probe is actually walled off, like here, the 2 gates, he's probably expecting me to cancel this gate as well. But he's quite literally walled himself in. So there's an opportunity to kill the probe and stop it altogether. And I probably could have built a stalker and tried to deal with the second probe. But since I realized the cannon rush is going to take its sweet time, I think the recall... honestly, if I had made it in the corner... Let me show you what he scouted with. I was very suspicious. He's actually scouting right off the bat, but he's a little suspicious of things. This is not the most unlikely defense against a cannon rush. So pretty much right now, I'm literally amputating parts of my base, buying myself time to transfer to another base. The big mistake I made was diving on the cannons there. But you see, these are the more dangerous ones, the smarter cannon rushers who can think and have some form of object permanence. But at the end of the day, if you can get a Stargate out, you got to keep a watch on that gas and all that. Honestly, I thought this was a really smart game for me. There's not too much more to it. I want to get some of those quick cheese defenses out there. And the number of probes, just some pro tips we'll throw in at the end. The number of probes to kill a cannon after it starts is only about 4. Actually, I think technically it's 3, but I think 4 is a safer number. If it's over halfway done, you're going to want at least 5. And then, of course, you need to add on more, the worse it is. Like if you need to kill it in a certain amount of time. But pulling all the probes is the easiest way to hamstring your economy without losing any probes. And if you're going to do the recall strat, you have to know before the cannons start in range of your base. At that point, it's probably too late. So, because most cannon rushes won't just slap it down right in your main, this can work. But I felt somewhat accomplished with this one. I think this was a solid defense. I actually have some more like this. I wasn't really sure how I wanted to do this format here. This is your creative, professional, amateur cheese defense. Try it in your games. Tell me how it goes. Your results may vary, but at least you played some games, so that's a plus. Check out the low APM challenge. Check out more guides. Let's wrap this up, Jimmy. Are we at 10 minutes? 3, to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.